Welcome back to Will's VG Addiction. The weather was really nice this past weekend, so I went out and I went to some garage sales, some yard sales, flea markets, that sort of thing. Found a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it so we don't waste any time. But before I do that, the past 3-4 weeks or so have been really slow, and when that happens, I get kind of antsy and get kind of itchy, and I do a lot of perusing on eBay and go to some of the local retail stores or whatever and probably pay a little bit more than I normally would for stuff. But I got some stuff there, and I want to go ahead and get into that before I get into this stuff that I found out and about. So here we go. So to be brutally honest, a lot of the stuff that I got locally is nothing really all that major, nothing really all that exciting, but it was stuff that I wanted, so I'll go ahead and go through that stuff right now. I got a complete copy of Maximo Ghosts to Glory for the PS2. I actually already had this, but it was missing the manual. My buddy Mike owns a store out here, We Know Video Games. He gave me a really good deal on it, so I had to pick that up. Along with that, I got Maximo Army of Zen, Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 for the PS1 boxing, and there's a reason I got this, and I'll share that with you another time. I knew Yasha, my daughter is into this anime, and she had asked me to look out for it, so I finally found it. My buddy Mike gave me a good price. It's not the sticker price on here, which is $8.99, so had to pick that one up. The Simpsons Wrestling, which I am actually really surprised I never found at any point before, but had to grab that. My buddy gave me a good price on that. Let's see what else we got here. For the Sega Saturn, Japanese import, World Heroes Perfect. Very fun game. Some NES games that I needed. I don't necessarily care to play them all that much, but I will have to give them a shot. I think I'm at $5.50 on the license set now, somewhere around there. We got Sky Kid, Round Ball 2-on-2 Challenge, Deadly Towers, and Gary Kitchen's Battle Tank. Very common games that, you know, I just didn't have. And I tipped my buddy off to an eBay sale. The guy was selling a copy of Flintstones, Dinosaur Peak, Surprise of Dinosaur Peak, Snow Brothers, I think it was Mighty Final Fight, and something else. All, you know, really expensive games. It was Contraforce, I believe, actually. And the guy had a pretty good price on them. Where basically he was paying for Flintstones and Contraforce and got the other two for free. So, yeah, I couldn't afford it, and I don't have any reason to buy them and resell them. I already have the game, so I let him know about it. He picked them up. They turned out to be legit, all in good shape. The guy even threw in some extras. So one of the extras that he gave me as, you know, kind of a thank you for tipping him off to that was a copy of California Raisins Grape Escape. This is a repro, homebrew, whatever. Nice to have for the collection, though. So I appreciate that, Mike. Some other stuff that I got at local retail stores, copy of Loops for the NES, and Dig Dug and Miss Pac-Man for the Atari 5200. Got those for $7 total. I'm not going to say where or who I got these from, but got a stack of 5 NESs, came with an RF adapter and a copy of Super Mario Duck Hunt. And the guy that I bought those from, he had let me know that, you know, they were non-working. He thinks it was just the pins or whatever. He didn't feel like fixing them, so he gave me a good price on them. I had to pick them up. I like tinkering with stuff, and I know how to fix those generally. So, you know, obviously I don't need an NES. I'll probably, you know, work on them and sell them for a couple dollars and find something else that I actually like. So more eBay stuff. A lot for 3 controllers popped up. I thought it was a really good deal. It was a sealed black GameCube controller, a Wavebird with no receiver, and this crappy Mad Catz controller with no receiver. $25 shipped. I couldn't pass that up. Pretty good deal. So I actually now have a silver and a black GameCube controller sealed. Got a copy of Looney Tunes B-Ball for the Super Nintendo. This was a box and a cart only. I had the cart and the manual, but my cart looked like crap. So I've been on the lookout for a box for a while, and if I could, cartridge upgrade, and I got those. So also got Boxing Legends of the Ring. I used to play this with my brother all the time when I was a kid. Off of Amazon, I got a copy of Resident Evil, the Origins collection with Resident Evil 0, and which is the other one? What the hell is the other game? Oh, Resident Evil HD Remix. Like I need that again, but I've actually never played Resident Evil 0, so to have that with an updated control scheme seemed like a pretty good idea to me, so I had to pick that one up. And a game I've been looking for a long time, but just never found for a good price. It seems like everybody's always trying to gouge on this game for some reason. But I got a copy of Fight Night Round 4 for the Xbox 360. I think it was like $8 shipped, something like that, $7 or $8. Pretty good deal, I guess. I mean, for an old boxing game, but it's one of the few 360 boxing games that I don't have. Where to go from here? Okay. So one thing I do on a lot of the higher end games is I put them on my watch list and they pop up in my feed on eBay. This game popped up. It was for, you know, what I thought was a decent price. It was a fair price to pay for a complete copy. It's a copy of Wayne's World for the NES. Now I already had the cart by itself. I'll be honest with you, I put down a minimum bid thinking that somebody was going to outbid me, you know, but nobody did, surprisingly. So now I got a complete copy as well, and I've already actually traded off the cart by itself to my buddy Joe Ross, who's a scumbag reseller, but I still love him, for a copy of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the complete black label version, which I've been looking for a long time. And also a cart-only copy of the Toxic Crusaders for the NES. So I'll be happy to get those from them when they finally come in. Alright, so what else? I got a sealed copy of Blades of Time for the 360. That's been on my watch list for a long time. I've been looking at that since like 2012 and just never wanted to pop down $8 for it. So I finally decided to do that. So there's that. You know, I got some PC Engine and some TurboGrafx stuff, which I'm actually really excited about. I want to say it's Kunio's Soccer, which is what it shows on the disc sleeve, the manual. But trying to get that without any glare. Basically, it's World Cup Soccer for the NES, except it's got better graphics and better sound, and that's a sealed copy. Got that for $15. And this was kind of an impulse buy, but I got a copy of Ninja Gaiden for the PC Engine, and it's sealed as well. I paid a lot for it. I'm probably not going to open it up. I actually played it through emulation, and honestly, it's not really good, but it's definitely an interesting chapter in the Ninja Gaiden history. I got a couple other sealed games as well for the TurboGrafx. Got a copy of Bonk's Adventure, which is, you know, it's one of those staple games that you have to have for the TurboGrafx 16. And for whatever reason, I was going to say I never came across it, but I take that back. I did get it once, but it was the Hue card only. And I gave that, well, I sold it really, really cheap to a friend of mine who wanted it, because I don't like having the games. It's nice to have them in the box, but at least with the manual and the CD case, or the disc case, whatever you want to call it. And then I also got a copy of Bonk's Revenge for the TurboGrafx 16. And I got both of these sealed for a really good deal. It was a lot of money, but it was still, you know, pretty good for being sealed games, sealed TurboGrafx games at that. I want to note that I finally got a new camera, and I guess each video has only got a 4 gig limit, which really sucks. So I had to stop and check that out and see what the hell's going on with that. But anyway, the last two things that I got from online retailers were a copy of Spellcaster for the Sega Master System. I think I paid like $19 for it, shipped. That is related to Mystic Defender for the Sega Genesis. It's one of my favorite, well, I shouldn't say it's one of my favorite games. One of the earliest games that I got for the Genesis. Now, I actually ordered that too, so that's on the way. But it's a game I definitely miss playing, and I do like the Sega Master System. So, you know, whenever I can pick up cheap games for it, something that's going to be fun to play, I will. On that note, I also got a copy of Alex Kidd the Lost Stars for the Sega Master System. Both of these games were complete. This one, I didn't really notice it when I put down a bid on it. I got this for like $9 shipped, which I thought was a really good deal, but there was a reason for it. You know, I went back and read the description. For whatever reason, I just didn't read it that day, but the label has a little bit of damage on there, and the manual is hard as a rock. It's like a crusty cum covered freaking manual. So that was the reason I went ahead and found another manual that was in nice shape and ordered that for like $3 shipped, I think. So $11, not bad total. So let's go ahead and get into what I found yesterday locally out and about. I'm not going to say where I went because I know that there are folks who are living in the area that compete for the same stuff that I do, so can't say where I got it. But what I will say is, damn, I don't even know what order to go in with this stuff. So let's start with some of the, hell, you know what? Let's get into some of the decent stuff. So one of the more exciting times for me, being kind of an older cat, you know, growing up in the, you know, just at the tail end of the Atari era and coming up in the NES era. Something that I have been very familiar with as far as knowing what it is and having a little bit of history on it, but never actually having been able to have the privilege of playing or seeing in person, is an Odyssey 2, which I found in the box, which is really, really cool for me anyway. I know a lot of you younger cats aren't going to appreciate it so much, but let's see that. It's got the system in there, the controllers, which are hardwired into the system, power cord and all that. Got some pamphlets and some paperwork and stuff in there, but see that in there. I got that, which, you know, it's not something that has been on my, you know, must-have list, but it was something that I've always kind of wanted to try out. Never come across one. So I got that, and I got a couple box, well, a bunch of box games actually. KC Munchkin, and the cover on that is torn off, but it comes with the manual. We've got Invaders from Hyperspace, in case you don't know what a Odyssey 2 cart looks like. It's got a little handle on it. It looks basically like an Atari cartridge with a handle. Atari 2600, I should say. We got Cosmic Conflict. We've got Dynasty. We've got a multi-cart, which is Matchmaker, Logix, and Buzzword. We've got Football. And we've got Thunderball. It's a lot of money for me to spend at, you know, a local sale, but 80 bucks for it, a little high, under retail though. And you know, when you see something like that and it's right in your face, sometimes impulse takes over. And that's kind of what happened here. But the guy also had some other stuff, and he gave me a good deal on these because I was buying the Odyssey. So he had a copy of Thunder Force 4 for the Mega Drive. A couple games that I've been looking for a while. Thunder Force 3 for the Sega Genesis, and Thunder Force 2, which I actually used to have as a kid, for the Sega Genesis. And then also a copy of Lode Runner for the PS1. I don't know how well that's showing up, but what did I pay for those? I think I paid $25 for all 4 of those games. So then I came across another guy, and it was crazy because I went to, I'm not gonna say, again, I don't want to say where, but I went somewhere where I don't usually go, and I don't see stuff like this a lot, but it's like everywhere I looked there was video games. So there was a guy who had a whole bunch of stuff. He had PS2s, PlayStation 1s, he had GameCubes, all kinds of consoles and a ton of games. So I kind of picked out the stuff that I want. So I'll go ahead and get in that stuff now. So as far as hardware type stuff, the first stuff that I saw was the hardware. He had a Halo 4 Xbox 360 wireless controller with the battery pack. Really nasty storage shed fresh Nintendo 64, $5. A Sega Dreamcast, which was really nice to see out there. Had all the cords and controllers, a gun, a first party controller, memory card. I believe you wanted 20, what was it, 25 on that? And a couple of Game Boy Advances, or a couple of Game Boy Advance SPs. These are the 001 models, but they work. They're a little beat to hell, but whatever. 4 of the old Game Boy, the DMG models. Now, he told me that these didn't work, so he gave them to me, or they might not work, he said. So $5 a piece on those. At a minimum, I can always use them for parts and Frankenstein them together to get at least 2 working ones, I would think. 1 or 2, we'll see. So $5 a piece on that, and some other games. Now, I bought these. I actually went back to the guy after I bought all this stuff, and there's a story behind that. And there was a douchebag who came in. I had all this stuff in a box, and I was trying to make a deal with the guy. I was sitting there, you know, haggling with the price, and some asshole just comes up and starts digging in the box. So, you know, I kind of looked at him like, hey brother, I'm trying to make a deal here for all that stuff. I mean, there's other boxes over there. You can go take a look at that stuff, but I'm working on this right here. He turns up, he looks at me, and he just goes back to digging in the box and opening the games. I'm like, dude. And I actually had to slap him on the hand. You know, I don't like to fight people over video games, but I was about to go blows with this dude. I was like, guy, I'm about to buy these. Gone. Get the hell out of here. He just kind of looked at me, huffed, and just walked away. But I tried to pick these up and make the deal for him as quickly as possible. So these are two that I actually went back for, and the guy wanted $5 a piece for him. And I didn't really want to argue with him because he gave me a good deal on the rest of the stuff. So it was Total Overdose and Rune for the PS2. Both of those are complete, and I didn't realize that Total Overdose has a little bit of damage on what looks like the data layer. It starts up like 50% of the time, but you know, I guess I can kind of consider that not working. I bought the Game Boys separate, $5 a piece. I bought the N64 separate for $5 because he had a friend that was doing his little side sale, and I got some of the stuff from this guy and some of the stuff from his friend. So this is the stuff that I got from the main guy with the Dreamcast. So it's the Dreamcast, the two GBA SPs, and these games. So we have Hot Shots Tennis and Exit for the PSP. Both of those are complete, and I haven't tested them yet. Hopefully they work. Sonic Mega Collection for the GameCube, and I know I have this, I just don't know if I have the manual for it, but that's complete. Odama for the GameCube, some sort of strategy game. And to me, what was a real winner in this lot was Dino Crisis. There's another guy that I ran into. He was selling a bunch of stuff. Didn't really see anything I liked except some of the handhelds. He kind of talked me into this one, but it's a Nintendo DS Lite. Again, storage shed fresh with all the grime and dirt on it. It works, comes with a charger. He wanted 15 on that, which, you know, I was like, okay. So he had two GBA SPs, both of them work, have good sound. Came with a charger and this carry case, which I couldn't care less about, but also had a bunch of games. And I tried to get, the thing is, this guy had, he was sitting out there with his wife. Dude was ready to give me a good deal. He was going to give me 40 bucks on all this stuff. His wife said no. She said 65. So we haggled a little bit and went down to 60. I mean, it was a lot. To me, it was a lot. But to be honest with you, if I sell one of the SPs with the charger and maybe one of these games, I'll get that back. So here we go. We got Mega Man X, what is it? Mega Man Z02, whatever. I don't know the hell that is. But I'll be hanging on to that one for sure. We got Battleship, Risk, and Clue. Don't care about that. Defender, Saving the Human Race. I don't know how well that's showing up, but Metroid Zero Mission, and that came with a manual as well, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. SimCity 2000 and Mission Impossible. So there was also a stack of manuals that came with all those. We got the Game Boy Advance SP system manual. Got the Risk Battleship manual, Mission Impossible, Mario Kart Super Circuit, which I already have the game for, F-14 Tomcat, Metroid Zero Mission, just a regular health and precautions and safety, blah blah blah, The Incredibles, and Super Mario Deluxe. So yeah, I paid quite a bit for that, and I don't regret it, but it was a lot more than I wanted to pay, but it was alright. So came across another sale, and this lady had a Game Boy Pocket in this Nintendo case, this protective case, which I guess is a retail case. But this thing, it's got some scuffs on the back, especially right around where the cartridge slot is, but the screen is really clean. This is really, really nice. 10 bucks on that. I haven't tested to make sure it works, but I'm sure it does, and I don't believe I have one of these yet, or this color. So pretty excited about that one for sure. Next sale, I asked this guy, he's got all kinds of electronics and whatnot. I asked him, hey, do you have any video games? He goes and grabs a box. Again, everything I got is pretty grimy, so I don't have to say that anymore. But I got a Super Nintendo. The little power adapter piece is still in there, which is nice. That's usually broken. I got another NES, filthy as hell. No cords, no controllers for any of these. And then I also got a PSP with a generic, I guess it's a Pelican charger. No battery. The guy said it works. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's got some sticker residue on it. So I'm going to assume that it works. I should probably plug it in and try it. But came with 2 games, World Series of Poker and Death. Don't know anything about that one, but it looks kind of interesting. So I'll be giving that one a go. But pretty cool. 15 bucks. Can't complain there. Alright, came across another guy. He had some game stuff out, and there was some other guy looking at him, asking about the price, and I was like, I'll let him have it. I don't really care. I got enough of these as it is. But the guy passed on it. So I didn't really want it necessarily, but he had a Sega Genesis with a copy of Garfield in there. 2 controllers. One of them is standard 3-button, and then the 6-button. He also had the Sega Saturn controller. So, you know, I wasn't really interested in any of the Genesis stuff because I have more than enough of that. But he didn't have a Sega Saturn, so I asked how much on the controller. He said $5. I asked him, you know, if he was firm, because he had told the other guy 20 bucks on the Genesis. And he had passed on it, so I assumed that, you know, he kind of wanted to just get rid of it. So he told me $20 for everything, so I took it. Comes with the RF cord. It does not have a power cord. You know, that's cool, I guess. I can still probably get rid of it for like 20 and get my money back and at least keep this one for free. So just to kind of wrap the rest of this stuff, I got a lot of this stuff from just various other folks. Got a copy of Sonic and Knuckles for Sega Genesis, and I forgot to mention this one, and then also a copy of Moonwalker, which was in the box with the Dreamcast, and I didn't even notice that until I got home. So huge bonuses there. From various other folks, got a copy of Tetris. I think actually that was in one of the Game Boys, and I don't remember where I got this one either. Maybe it was in that box too. But Itchy and Scratchy for the Game Boy. And a copy of Pugsy, and I think that might have been in that box too. I'm not sure. I had gotten so much crap yesterday, I just don't even remember. There was a guy who had just random knickknacks and shit, and then again, oddly enough, he had like 3 boxes of video game stuff. He had 3 original Xboxes. He wanted 10 bucks each on it. Normally, you know, that's not bad, but you know, no cords, untested. They were not tampered with. The security sticker wasn't broken, so kind of a good deal. But I don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. I'm not really into the whole reselling thing anymore like I used to be. I would rather just collect for myself or get stuff that I can trade with other people, you know, for stuff that I actually want. So one of the cool things I saw on this guy's table was Compute's Guide to the Sega Genesis with a bunch of secret tips and all that nonsense. Apparently this was $4.99 at some point. Still sealed. I think that's kind of cool. This guy had some disappointments. There were some highs and some lows with this dude. GameCube power adapter. I think I've got more of these than I actually have GameCubes now. This Soul Calibur joystick. I don't know who oh, this is actually a Namco manufactured joystick. Now when I first saw this, I thought it was the Hori stick, which I actually have in a box somewhere. I used it once when I bought it back in like 2008 or 2009. So I thought it was that. I picked it up, but it's actually, to me, it's an even better find because it's got a GameCube, original Xbox, and a PS2 adapter on it. So once I clean all the crud off that, I'll definitely be holding on to that one. So this guy also had a Justifier gun, and he wanted $5 for all these, and he gave me a good deal on some other stuff, so I thought anyway. So I went ahead and just said, the hell with it, I'll give it to you. This is a Nyko gun of some sort. It looks like it connects to the Dreamcast and the PS2. So again, something I'll be cleaning up and giving a shot, and you know, if I like it, I'll definitely be keeping that. He had this ASCII-ware PS1 joystick. Kind of neat. I don't have one of those, so man, this thing is filthy too. A SN Pro Pad for the Super Nintendo. Never have too many Super Nintendo controllers. Performance Super Pad 64 for the Nintendo 64, and a I believe this is a quick shot. Yeah, quick shot controller for the NES. So hopefully all those work. Again, I haven't tested them, but here's where some of the disappointment comes in. There's a few games here which were nice to have, and I think he wanted $2 each on these, so I bought them. Medal of Honor for the PS1. WCW versus the World for PS1. Eve of Extinction for PS2, and this one is missing a manual. Cold Fear for the original Xbox, and Okami for PS2. That's also missing a manual. And that's another one of those games that I just never run across, and if I ever do, it's disc only. So I had to pick it up this time. So there's a bunch of other games that he had. And I got to go back again. I forgot to mention this one earlier. So the guy that had the Dreamcast also had a disc-only copy of Digimon World 3 for the PlayStation. I have zero interest in Digimon stuff, but I know it's a good recouper. So I picked that one up. It doesn't work. Crap. Now these games I picked up from the guy with all this dusty junk. He had a binder full of Sega Dreamcast games. So how often do you see that? $2 a piece. Most of them were disc only. He had a couple manuals for them. I grabbed what I wanted, and I was thinking about just making an offer on the whole thing. So let me show you what I got first, and then tell you what happened with that. So we got Mortal Kombat Gold for Sega Dreamcast, Soul Calibur, and that came with a manual. Sonic Adventure. So I'll go ahead and stop now and just tell you that Sonic Adventure doesn't work. Sonic Adventure doesn't work. A lot of the games, once I saw that one and I kind of looked at it underneath the light, I could see that there was damage to the data layer. These were all scratched up, and I was like, oh fuck. You know, how often do you find Sega Dreamcast games out there, and then, you know, what a letdown that they're all fucked up. So Sonic Adventure doesn't work. Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur look like they have damage to it also. Mortal Kombat kind of loads up once in a while. But it's playable sometimes, so I don't know how to take that. Shenmue Disc 1. That one also looks like it's got some damage to it, but it does start up, so I don't know. These I haven't tested yet. Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits Volume 2. Drakengard 2 for the PS2, and that one's pretty rough too. I had to get it resurfaced, and it plays, but it's got some scratches on it. These two were just throw-ins, and I don't care about. Siphon Filter 2 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So anyway, some of the other games that the guy had in the binder were, I mean, they were pretty, you know, so-so games. It was like Pac-Man or Pac-Man World or some shit like that. Either Atari or Intellivision or Midway collection of some sort. You know, it was a lot of stuff like that. A couple of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games. Nothing exciting, so I went ahead and let those go, and I don't regret it at all, because I'm sure they probably didn't work either. And then also, I just randomly, I found a copy of Super Mario Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers 2. I think I paid $15 for the two of them, something like that. Alright, so we're all done here. That was my weekend. It was a nutty weekend. A lot of stuff. Happy to have it though. A little disappointed that some of it doesn't work. Happy to have a new camera and finally be shooting a video that hopefully looks pretty decent, sounds pretty decent. I know this wasn't the most exciting pickup video ever, but you know, I just kind of wanted to go ahead and document it before I started putting stuff on the shelf or started trading stuff away. And I also wanted to test out the new cameras. If you stuck with me through the whole thing, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you liking, subscribing, and commenting, and all that good stuff. Someday in the future, in the near future, I'd like to actually go ahead and talk about all this crap that I have behind me. I've been waiting to do that for a long time, but my camera has always been god-awful, and nothing ever came out right, so I just didn't want to do it. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. Catch you next time. You know what I forgot to mention is I also got this Wii, and this is the first thing that I picked up yesterday. It's pretty raunchy looking, but you The guy initially told me 15 bucks, and I told him I'd think about it. Walked around the sale for a little bit, came back and said, you know, I'll go ahead and take it. I'll take a chance on it, because quite honestly, for the sensor bar alone, which I needed, it was alright. So when I went to pull out my money, he said 10 bucks. So 10 bucks for a complete Wii. Not sure if it works yet. Not too bad.